the vast Persian Empire, stretching under the hot desert sun. The city of Susa in the distance, with towering palace walls and golden spires piercing the sky. The camera zooms toward the entrance of the royal palace, shimmering in the light. In the heart of the Persian Empire, amidst endless sands and roar of desert winds, lies the city of Susa, a place of splendor and danger, where the fate of nations is decided in the halls of kings. The search for a queen, a long line of young women, all of varying beauty, are gathered before palace officials in a brightly lit hall. The camera focuses on Esther, Hadassah, her face a mixture of determination and fear, standing among the crowd. Among the many young women called to the palace was Hadassah, a humble Jewish orphan, unknown and unnoticed, yet her beauty and grace would soon change the course of history. Esther in the royal chambers, royal robes being placed on her by servants. Her face is somber as she gazes at herself in the mirror, an unspoken fear in her eyes, taken from the shadows of her simple life. Esther found herself draped in the robes of royalty, but in her heart, she still carried the weight of her people's fate. The enemy rises, Haman's hatred. Haman's face, a man consumed by anger and pride. He is seated in a grand, dark room, his eyes narrow, staring at the statue of a king before him, plotting revenge. In the court of King Xerxes, the proud and ambitious Haman burned with hatred. A hatred born not just of personal insult, but a desire to destroy an entire people. Haman holding the king's royal ring, sealing the decree with a dark expression. The scroll bearing the death sentence of the Jews is unfurled in his hands. With the king's signet ring in his grasp, Haman sealed the death sentence of all Jews in the empire. The 13th day of the 12th month was marked for destruction. The decision, Mordecai's plea. Mordecai in sackcloth, sitting in the town square, his face twisted in grief. The camera zooms out to show the city of Susa, now draped in mourning. In the streets of Susa, Mordecai, Esther's cousin, mourned. The decree of death loomed over them all. Despair filled the air, but he sent a message, one that would stir Esther's heart to action. Esther, seated in her royal chambers, receiving the message from Mordecai. Her hands tremble as she reads it, her eyes wide with realization. Esther, now queen, was torn. To speak out could mean her death, yet to remain silent would condemn her people. She pondered the words of Mordecai. Who knows if you'll come to the kingdom for such a time as this? The risk, Esther's bold move. A close-up of Esther, standing in front of the royal palace doors. Her expression is a mixture of fear and resolve. The golden doors loom ahead, symbolizing her risk. With courage summoned from the depths of her soul, Esther made the decision that would change everything. She would risk everything. Her life, her crown, her identity. Esther walking into the king's throne room, her regal form moving slowly, but her gaze locked on the king. King Xerxes watches from his throne, a sense of tension building between them. The king's eyes met hers. The tension in the room was palpable, but Esther, undaunted, stepped forward into the very heart of danger. The banquet, the slow burn of revelation, the grand banquet hall of King Xerxes, filled with exquisite food. Esther seated next to the king, with Haman by his side. The camera focuses on her calm, yet tense demeanor. Esther did not rush her request. With measured grace, she invited the king and Haman to a feast, slowly preparing the ground for a revelation that would change everything. At the second banquet, Esther stands, her expression filled with courage as she turns to face the king and Haman. On the second day, with the weight of her people's lives on her shoulders, Esther finally spoke. There is a man who seeks to destroy me and my people. Haman's face, his eyes wide with fear, as the king reacts with fury. The once powerful advisor is suddenly a prisoner of his own deeds. The king's fury erupted. Haman, once the most powerful man in the kingdom, now stood condemned. His fate was sealed. A new decree, the Jews' victory. Jews across the empire, now armed and ready. The once peaceful faces are now filled with determination and strength as they prepare for battle. With the decree lifted, the Jews of Persia fought for their survival. No longer were they cowering in fear. They fought with the strength of a people given new hope. Jews celebrating the victory, their faces filled with relief and joy. Esther, now standing with Mordecai, watches the celebrations. On the 13th day of the 12th month, what was meant to be a day of death became a day of deliverance. The Jew, victorious, celebrated a new beginning, and Esther's name will forever be remembered. Esther standing tall in front of the royal palace, gazing out over the city of Susa. The sun sets behind her, casting a golden glow. Esther's story is not just a tale of a queen, but of a woman who stepped into her destiny. A woman who, when faced with the greatest of risks, chose to save her people. For such a time as this, she was born. In a world where fear often silences voices, Esther reminds us, courage can change history. You were born for a purpose. You were placed where you are for such a time as this. Stand, speak, shine. Your moment is waiting.